Hi, everybody. I'm Bill Dolman with Brandon Verzel. Welcome to the Class B State Championship game for 1998. We have a terrific matchup this evening as Lincoln Pius X takes on the Chadron Cardinals. The Pius X Thunderbolts playing in their own backyard here at Memorial Stadium. Meanwhile, Chadron has traveled clear across the state, an 8-hour trip to play in this final. And Brandon, we have a great matchup. Pius is the football team that enters as the defending state champion, although they returned this season without any starters coming back. Meanwhile, Chadron, a terrific offense with a great quarterback in Michael Wallstrom.
You already mentioned some differences. Talk about playoff success. The Lincoln Pius Thunderbolts, 5th championship game. They're 3rd in the last 4 years. They're 23-11 in the playoffs since 1975. They have 4 state titles. Then you look at the Chadron Cardinals, 5-12 record and 13 playoff appearances. It's just the first time they've been in a state title game. In fact, they've never made it past the second round until this year. So vastly different in terms of success in the postseason.
Chadron unbeaten on the year, 12-0. The Cardinals got here in the state playoffs by defeating Scottsbluff 43-22, Aurora 40-6, and in the semifinals they knocked off Ogallala 37-14. And now let's go to Memorial Stadium PA announcer Rich Broderson for the introduction of the Cardinals.
Buildings Association and U.S. Bank would like all of you to recognize the outstanding accomplishments of these two football teams. Let's give a big round of applause first for the visitors from Chadron High School. Let's meet the players. Number 5, C.J. Buck. Number 10, the starter, Charles Mann. Number 11, Michael Wallstrom. Number 14, James Mann. Number 22, Mitch Berry. Number 31, Kurt Caton. Number 33, Ben Pfister. Number 34, Nels Hoffman. Number 49, Zach Alcorn. Number 53, Eddie Bessonet. Number 55, Brian Ellison. Number 64, Mark Schmidt. Number 69, Kyle Rogers. Number 61, Wade Yeda. Number 24, Craig Hoffman. Number 75, Luke Ford. And number 80, Dane Rasmussen. And the head coach for the Cardinals is Dick Stein. And the rest of the Chadron Cardinals.
Well, we told you about the Chadron Cardinals and their path to the state championships. They are 12-0, and they've taken the long trip to Lincoln to win a state championship. They'll be taking on the defending Class B champion, the Lincoln Pius X Thunderbolts, who are 9-2 on the year. They started off the 98 campaign 3-2, but after a 7-6 loss to Fremont, they have been dynamite, winning their last 6 games, knocking off Norris and top-ranked and unbeaten Elkhorn in the quarterfinals 25-8. Then they beat Gretna 31-9 in the semis to earn a trip to the state championship game against Chadron. And now let's turn it back over to Rich Broderson and the introduction of the Pius X Thunderbolts.
Now let's meet the players for the home team, Lincoln Pius X High School. Number 2, Rob Timmerman. Number 3, Nick Heiser. Number 4, Ben Armstrong. Number 6, Nick Leichel. Number 7, Scott Rippey. Number 8, Nolan Klassen. Number 11, John Elwood. Number 21, Brandon Reitz. Number 26, Matt Grossroad. Number 37, Tony Rodriguez. Number 49, Shane Burkle. Number 53, Matt Sobansky. Number 56, Jason Vasa. Number 60, Mike Connolly. Number 66, John Rudersdorf. Number 71, Taylor Ashburn. Number 72, Bob Montgomery. Number 74, Sean Peed. Number 77, Steve Delancey. Number 78, Matt Westling. Number 84, Chad Greenway. And number 91, Jamie McAvica. The head coach for the Thunderbolts is Tim Elwood. And the rest of the Lincoln Pius X Thunderbolts.
Again, Lincoln Pius 9-2 on the 1998 campaign, taking on the Chadron Cardinals, who are unbeaten at 12-0. Chadron is a great football team with a wonderful balanced attack, both offensively in terms of rushing the football and passing the football, but defensively they've also been dynamite. Pius is a good football team too defensively, but Brandon, one thing that they love to do, will do a lot of it, is run the football.
There's no doubt about that. I-back Matt Grossroad, 1,543 yards rushing on the year, averaging 6.3 yards per carry. And you also got to look in that backfield to quarterback Rob Timmerman. When you have a strong I-back like that, and you also have a strong passing game from Timmerman, over 1,000 yards passing on the year, 12 touchdowns.
All right, it's Chadron and it's Lincoln Pius X. We're going to take a timeout here. We'll come back with the opening kickoff right after this.
Genuine Nebraska, where opportunity is as open as our landscape. It's a land of prosperity, discovery, and community, where the best things in life are priceless and can be yours for the asking, where work is plentiful and rewards are generous. Come home to Nebraska, a great place to work, play, and stay. Genuine Nebraska.
With Brandon Verzel, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome to the 1998 Class B State Championship game between the Chadron Cardinals and the Lincoln Pius X Thunderbolts. Pius X comes in as the defending state champion. They've won 4 titles in their history in 1975, 1978, 95, and 97. They have been a dominant team throughout the mid-1990s. Chadron is looking for its first ever state championship in football. They won the 1996 state basketball title, and when you talk to head coach Dick Stein, he says that experience in a state championship atmosphere here in Lincoln, even though it was at the Devaney Center, not at Memorial Stadium, but to be under that pressure situation, to come away with a state championship, they've got guys, Brandon, that were on that team.
Yeah.
He says that experience helps out.
3 very key players. Quarterback Mike Wallstrom, you'll hear his name called a lot tonight, just been a key player on this team, and really his 2 favorite targets, wide receiver Zach Alcorn and wide receiver Kurt Caden. All 3 played on that state championship team, so used to the pressure, should be able to adjust and hopefully even it out a little bit in terms of the pressure game experience.
Chadron won the toss. They will have the football to begin play, and if I'm a Cardinal fan, I've got to like that. They have an outstanding offense, as I mentioned. Talk about the balance. 2,265 yards rushing, 2,248 yards passing. After 12 games in a season, to be that balanced, it's really an incredible statistic.
Yeah, no doubt, and it starts with the quarterback, Michael Wallstrom. 606 yards rushing, 2,201 yards passing. It's just balance all around. Plenty of guys looking down the list. Lots of receivers with a lot of yards receiving and lots of backs with plenty of yards rushing. So just a completely balanced attack for the Cardinals. Tough to key on one aspect of their offense.
Ben Armstrong will tee it up at the 40-yard line to get this Class B state championship game underway. Back deep to receive Nels Huffman, number 34. And number 22, Mitch Berry for the Chadron Cardinals. They stand at their 5. It's a cool night in Lincoln, 51 degrees, a very brisk breeze blowing out of the south at 14 miles an hour, gusting into the 20s and 30s. Very comfortable night for football, a great night for football here in Lincoln. And it's taken by Berry at the 6, bringing it to the near side, 25-30, turns the corner, and he's out of bounds at the 34-yard line. So a good start for the Chadron Cardinals. They'll have great field position, and it's time for Michael Wallstrom to go to work.
Berry, a running back offensively, showed the speed. They're going to hope that he shows the Cardinals here later in this game. Just cut away right to the right sideline. Had the blocking going for him in front of him. And ran it back for a nice gain and good field position right away at the 34.
Wallstrom, number 11, the quarterback, 6'3", 190-pound junior. He is dynamite. 2,201 and 2,200 yards passing this season. And as Brandon mentioned, 31 touchdowns, which ties the state record. He'll be playing Division I football somewhere. They keep it on the ground to begin the ball game. And the ball is given off to Nels Huffman, number 34, and he's got a short gain out to the 38-yard line. It's a pickup of 3, and they'll call it 2nd down and 7.
Huffman, more of a short yardage situation running back, averaging about 6 yards a carry. Gets the ball there and just follows his line. Had about 3 or 4 blockers in front of him to carry him over for a 3-yard gain.
2nd down, 7.
2nd down and 7. Ball at the 38-yard line.
And they go with a tight wing T formation. And Berry, the man in motion, he takes the pitch from Wallstrom. Trying to find blockers to the left, cuts outfield, good Pius defense. And that brings Berry down after a yard gain to the 39-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
Fairly easy play to read for the Thunderbolts. Just Berry went in motion immediately, and you can almost telegraph the fact that he was going to pitch. All the blockers collapsed to that left side to try to help him out, but the entire Pius defense was over there to make the play.
3rd down and 6. Pfister is the fullback, set up right next to Wallstrom. And Huffman, the man in motion. Wallstrom out of the shotgun, wants to throw, dumps it off. The pass is complete. Across the 40 to the 45-yard line. That's Mitch Berry. He picks up the 1st down, and he refuses to go down. So the ball came loose, but after his forward progress was stopped, and it'll be a 1st and 10 for the Cardinals.
Nice tough run at the end by Mitch Berry. He had the 1st down, but he said, I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to try to get a few extra yards. And he fought and got an extra 3 or 4 simply on his effort, despite having 2 or 3 defenders all over him.
Mitch Berry, 5'10", 165-pound junior. And the ball spotted at the 47-yard line. And the Cardinals pick up a 1st down in their opening drive of the game. And Wallstrom will go back under center. Pfister, the lone setback. Slot backs to both sides. Receivers split to both sides. And Wallstrom to throw. A quick pass caught by Alcorn. And Alcorn cuts it back upfield and into Pius territory. A fumble on the play. The Bolts say they have it.
Wallstrom's pass is complete to number 49.
And they do. And it's recovered by Matt Grossroad, number 26.
Number 26, Matt Grossroad.
Looked like it was just a good wraparound tackle at the end. Just barely got his hand in there. Had his hand on the football, made the play. You saw that in the previous play with Berry. You could see Pius was reaching in, trying to force the fumble. So maybe that's a strategy that Thunderbolts are going for tonight, is really going to try to strip the football and take it away from that Chadron offense.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line for Pius. Shane Burkle, the linebacker, one of the players to hit Alcorn on the play and cause the fumble. And now Pius with a great opportunity here on their opening drive. And the pitch is to Grossroad. He recovered the fumble, and he's brought down from behind. by number 14, James Mann. Terrific play defensively. He did not allow the corner, and he ran Grossroad down.
And Grossroad's no slow running back. He almost got around the corner. Great pursuit by James Mann. Just tremendous hustle. But going off that block and still able to tackle him in the open field.
Loss of 1 on the play. Second down and 11 back at the 42-yard line. The quarterback is Rob Timmerman. And he gives to the first man through. That's Shane Burkle. He forced the fumble a moment ago. And Burkle off the right side is close to the first down yardage. He needs the 46-yard line. And he got it.
Outside on the first play for Lincoln Pius, and they just go to the fullback, Burkle, up the middle on the second play. And it didn't look like Chadron was ready for it with a 10-yard gain.
First and 10 at the 46, Pius and Chadron territory, trying to capitalize on the turnover. Here's Grossroad straight up the middle, down to the 40-yard line. And the Pius offensive line is going to work.
Chadron coach Dick Stein had to know the Pius offense was just going to run the ball straight at him. No secrets here. Their bread and butter is the rush. 277 yards rushing average per game as opposed to just 91 yards through the air.
Second down 4, gain of 6 yards for Grossroad. And on the ground once again, number 6, Nick Leigel. He turns the corner. He's got another first down, and the Bolts are moving the ball well on the ground.
And number 6, Nick Legal.
It's a little bit of reverse on this play. Nick Leigel, not a real big runner, but he ran pretty tough there at the end. After the initial contact, still pushing forward for the first down.
Beg your pardon, Nick Legal on the carry. First down and 10, the ball at the 34-yard line. Timmerman turns, pitches, fumbles the football. Grossroad couldn't handle it, and Chadron's got it back.
Long carry by number 26.
Big break for Chadron. You do not want to give the ball up early like Chadron did and have Pius drive down and score. Be a huge momentum shift, but right there the Cardinals get the football back, and they're back to where they started.
First and 10 at the 34-yard line. So both teams moving the ball well offensively. And we've got an official's timeout, but both teams fumbling the football.
Essentially about the same spot that Chadron started their initial drive, so pretty much starting the game over again.
8:30 to play in the opening quarter. And Mitch Berry, the outstanding tailback for Chadron, comes limping off. And he'll be tended to on the sidelines. Wallstrom lined up under center. Pfister right behind him. And Mann goes in motion. And a short gain on the play across the 35. That's Nels Huffman with it to the 38-yard line. It's a gain of 3 on the play. That'll bring up second down and 7.
Pius is setting up to defend the pass. They only have 3 men pretty much pressuring the ball. The 2 ends are staying back in case of short screen passes, and the rest, everybody else is in the secondary, is pretty much in a zone. So pretty much daring Chadron to continue running. They're ready to defend the Michael Wallstrom pass.
Second and 7. Huffman goes in motion. And Wallstrom wants to throw. And the pressure broke down. Wallstrom's got to keep it himself, and a great tackle by Shane Burkle. That could have been a whole lot worse for the Thunderbolts. Wallstrom is a tremendous athlete, averaging 10 yards a carry when he's forced to scramble.
Burkle does a very nice job on this play. Wallstrom actually gets in front of Burkle. Burkle's able to break back and still pursue. Grabs him just barely by the ankle and keeps him from gaining any more yardage.
Third down at 6, and Wallstrom will now work out of the shotgun. Barry's back in there, number 22. And Barry goes in motion. And Wallstrom rolling out to his left, fires the pass. It's complete, caught by Caton, and he's out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Pretty pass by Michael Wallstrom. You can see why this guy is a Division I prospect.
The pass was right there. Wallstrom just rolled out to his left, and all Caton really did was just run out and turn around, and the pass was right there. When you have a great quarterback like Wallstrom in the backfield, you just turn around and the ball's going to be right there. It's not too bad.
Kurt Caton on the air, 22 catches, 471 yards. He and Alcorn, the two favorite receivers for Wallstrom. Mitch Berry, 21 catches out of the backfield. First down and 10 for Chadron. 7:08 to play in the opening quarter. No score. Each team has fumbled and turned the ball over. Wallstrom to the air, dumps it out of the backfield. It's complete to Berry, trying to break free, and he's spun down and out of bounds by number 21, Brandon Reitz. A gain on the play to the 42-yard line. That's a pickup of 6.
Pius has kind of changed up their defensive scheme. At first, they were daring them to run. Now they're starting to bring quite a few men on the line of scrimmage to try to put some pressure on Wallstrom. And he is making some good decisions, just going with the short screen passes and letting his receivers take over and try to gain yards after catching the pass.
With the wind blowing out of the south, Chadron is heading into the wind right now. You wouldn't expect them to go deep right now, but with a guy like Wallstrom, you might be able to do something like that. And rolling out, they'll work the option. And Wallstrom keeps it himself, leaps forward, gets the first down.
Ball carried by number 11, Michael Wallstrom.
Chadron coach Dick Stein said the reason that Michael Wallstrom is the best quarterback he's ever had is because he keeps things alive. And on that play, you could tell that Wallstrom took it upon himself to get that first down. All the way you could tell he was going to take it, cut back, and made sure that they got the first down.
Well, not only does he say Michael Wallstrom is the best quarterback that he's ever had, he says he's the best quarterback that he has ever seen in 33 years as a head coach. And that's saying something. First and 10, the ball at the 36-yard line. Huffman goes in motion again. They work it out of the shotgun. Wallstrom to the air. He's got his man, and it's nearly intercepted. Nick Heiser was out there. And it goes through his hands and falls incomplete. So the pass breakup brings up second down and 10.
Ben Armstrong on the breakup. He has 4 interceptions on the year. Don't know how he got to that ball. It looked like the ball was going to be over his head. Completely extended and knocked it down. Nice play by Ben Armstrong.
Second down 10, 6:38 to play in the opening quarter. The ball at the 37-yard line of Pius. The Cardinal on their second possession of the game. And Caton goes in motion. Wallstrom rolling out, pressure on him, and he unloads it and throws it away. That's good heads-up play by Michael Wallstrom. The pressure was put on by number 8, Nolan Clausen, a 5'9" senior.
First time they've showed that offensive scheme for wideouts, and it looked like even though the pressure was on Wallstrom, it seemed like as soon as he received the snap, he was already scrambling to his right. He's done that in several plays, just already committed to one side or another. However, the Pius defense is putting some pressure on him to throw the ball quickly.
Third down and 10, the ball at the 36. And Caton will split out wide to the left side along with Craig Hoffman. Alcorn and Berry split wide to the right. And Nels Huffman, a lone setback next to Wallstrom. He stays in the block. Wallstrom's throw is caught by Tony Alcorn, who went up high to get it. He'll be shy of the first down. It's a great catch. It'll make it fourth down and 2 yards to go for the Cardinals.
Alcorn, a senior tight end. He's 6'4", and he used every inch of that 6'4" frame to get up there and make that catch. One heck of a catch by Alcorn.
I said Tony, it's Zach Alcorn, number 49. He made a catch earlier in the half and fumbled the football away on the Cardinals' first drive. Comes down with a big catch here to make it fourth down and short. And the Cardinals will go for it on 4th and 2. 5:47 to play in the quarter. A mix-up in the backfield, and this play is doomed. Pius holds, and the Cardinals will be forced to turn the football over.
Seemed like the Cardinals didn't know who was supposed to have the ball between Wallstrom, and it looked like Nels Huffman also battling over who was going to keep the ball. Wallstrom was hit right away, and just no chance to get the first down. Pius defense was stacked at the line, and running up the middle just wasn't going to do it on that play.
First and 10, the ball at the 31-yard line. 5:40 to play in the opening quarter. Still no score. The Thunderbolts take over for their second possession of the game. Timmerman with the rare pass. Launches one deep, and it is caught. Ben Armstrong downfield, and Pius gets the big play into Cardinal territory.
Mitch Berry from Chadron was covering Ben Armstrong, and Berry's a pretty good secondary player, 4 interceptions this year, but Ben Armstrong just straight out beats him on the fly. Armstrong, a quick receiver, makes a nice catch. Perfectly placed pass as well by Rob Timmerman.
Well, this Pius football team loves to ball control. They love to run the football. They say 75% of the time they will keep the ball on the ground. But boy, when they throw the ball, they can be effective, and they were there. Gross Road bulls his way over the right side, inside the 30 down to the 28-yard line.
When you have an offense, like you said, Bill, that can do so much, it's key on those early downs to get a lot of yardage. Just allows you to be that much more creative when you have 2nd and 5 and 3rd and 2 situations.
And a gain of 5 for Gross Road. 2nd and 5 at the 28-yard line. Coming up on the 5-minute mark remaining in the opening period. Timmerman gives to Nick Legal. And Legal drags tacklers down to the first down marker. And he'll be close to another Pius first down. They'll spot him down at the 23-yard line.
Number 14, James Mann.
Leigel's second nice run, especially after his initial contact there. Still fought for the first down against 3 or 4 defenders. As you can see, the Thunderbolts really mixing things up, throwing the ball long once, ran the ball up the middle a few times, and also ran that end around to Nick Legal twice now.
And Pius picks up the first down at the 23-yard line. And so Pius has something going here. They moved the ball well on their opening drive of the game. They just fumbled the football away. And this drive began after a great 4th down stand by the Bolt defense. And then Timmerman connecting with Ben Armstrong on the big pass play. Gross Road the I-back, and the give is to the fullback, Burkle. He's got big yards straight up the middle across the 15, down to the 14-yard line.
Again, changing up the strategy. It looked like they were probably going to pitch it to Gross Road, or at least that's what Chadron's defense thought. But instead, a quick handoff to Burkle right at the middle. He gets into the secondary quickly and is able to run for a gain very near the first down.
At the Chadron 14-yard line.
Mitch Berry in on the tackle. 2nd down and 1 at the 14. Here's Gross Road bouncing to the outside, and he's knocked out of bounds by Berry at the 3-yard line. Here come the Thunderbolts. They're threatening to score first.
No surprises here from Lincoln Pius Thunderbolts. 75% of their offense this season has been on the ground, and so far in this game, that's been the most productive part.
And the Bolts have the Cardinals backing up on their heels. This is a great Chadron defense. And the give is to the tailback, Gross Road. He's still no indication yet. Touchdown! I beg your pardon. Ball was carried by Nolan Clausen, number 8, and not Matt Gross Road. So Nolan Clausen gets the touchdown for Pius, and the Thunderbolts are on the board first.
A little bit of everything on that drive. That long pass, of course, was the key, setting up good field position on Chadron's side of the field. But after that, it was just runs inside, runs outside, and they're right off the left tackle and in for the touchdown.
And Ben Armstrong is in for the point after try. John Aylward will hold it. High snap, good hold. And the kick is through. So Pius, with 4:03 to play in the first quarter, takes advantage when they force the Cardinals to turn the ball over on downs, and Pius marches down the field and puts the first points of the game on the board to take a 7-0 lead.
Good series there by Lincoln Pius. Established themselves as pretty much the dominant offensive force so far and able to string together a very nice drive. Started about right around the 5-minute mark, actually, so it was about a minute drive, actually, to get down the field to score.
Nolan Clausen, a 3-yard touchdown run. The big play on that drive, the pass from Rob Timmerman to Ben Armstrong. And from there, the Bolts did it on the ground the rest of the way. And so Chadron will have the ball for the 3rd time in the game. They've come up empty twice, fumbling the ball away and turning it over on downs. And Barry is back to receive for Chadron, along with Huffman, and it's Barry at the 1 yard line, bringing it to the near side. Huffman with the block? No. And a great play on special teams by number 41, John Goes.
Goes with a real nice play, was headed right for Barry the whole way. And there's several Pius people around, but Hose went through and made a nice play here.
And the Cardinals have the football at the 18-yard line, 3:56 to play. In the opening quarter, Pius with a 7-zip lead. And we've seen the Cardinals move the ball extremely well. In the early part of this football game, they just have nothing to show for it. Wallstrom has Barry go in motion, inside handoff to the slot back. And that was Huffman.
Ball carried by number 34, Nelson.
And he'll pick up a yard to the 19-yard line. And it'll be second down and, well, they'll call it the 20. It'll be second down and a long 8 yards.
Huffman just tried to glide along his offensive line and cut outside, but waiting there for him was Nick Heiser. And Heiser came up with the tackle.
Huffman, the leading carrier for Chadron this year, 676 yards. Wallstrom, the quarterback, the number 2 rusher, he's also above 600 yards. Second down and 8. Barry goes in motion. Tight set. And Wallstrom will throw. Pursuit, he's going to have to keep it himself, and he lunges forward across the 20 to the 24-yard line.
Ball carried by number
Oh no, the Cardinals aren't real confident in their offensive line. It seems like Wallstrom's afraid to stay in the pocket too long. The penetration's been good for Pius, but Wallstrom seems to commit to one side of the field fairly quickly. A lot tougher to throw on the run than it is when you're staying in the pocket.
Sean Peed, number 74, in on the tackle for Pius. That'll bring up a third down and 5. And they'll bring Caton wide to the near side. Barry in the backfield with Pfister and Huffman. Alcorn, the tight end on the left, the leading receiver for the Cardinals. They need a first down here. Huffman in motion. Wallstrom, 3-step drop. The pass is caught by Caton, who makes a nice catch coming back for it, and it should be just enough for a first down. Where he broke the pattern off, it was the 30. He had 2 yards to spare, but when he caught the football, he had to come back. And he does haul it in for the first down, but only by a few inches.
Nice play by Kirk Caton. You want to establish yourself a couple yards beyond that first down marker. You never know if your quarterback's going to throw you short. And that's what he did on that play, and he netted every bit of those 2 yards in front of him to make the catch. But because of where he was positioned, he was able to still get the first down. Good awareness by Kirk Caton.
Craig Hoffman comes in with the play from Dick Stein. He wears number 24. And it's first down and 10 for the Cardinals at the 29-yard line. They trail it 7-0 with 2 minutes remaining in the first quarter of play. And Zach Alcorn goes in motion. Wallstrom rolling out to his left, wants the option, keeps it himself, breaks one tackle, breaks another, lowers his head and gets out across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
Wallstrom pretty much outran all of his blockers on that play. Didn't necessarily have anybody in front of him except for number 24, Craig Hoffman, but he was still able to go for a nice gain with some nice moves here. You could tell he was going to run the ball all the way and just cut in between 3 Pius defenders, and it took 3 men to bring him down.
First and 10, the ball at the 47-yard line, and the Cardinals are on the move once again. He'll have 4 receivers in the pattern, 2 split to each side. And now Caton comes in motion to the near side. Dropping straight back, the pressure is on. Wallstrom's going to have to keep it himself, and he's hit and knocked forward to the 50-yard line. He'll pick up 3 yards.
Jamie Makovica for Pius, one of their best defensive players, 10 sacks on the year. Came very close to getting a sack there. Came from the far side of the field. Almost got Wallstrom by the ankle. Wallstrom was able to escape and scramble for another 3 yards. He keeps things alive, as head coach Dick Stein said, and he did there. Instead of a 5-yard loss, it was a 3-yard gain.
Inside the final minute of the first quarter. Gain of 3 on the play for Wallstrom, and he'll work out of the shotgun. Nels Huffman goes in motion. And Hoffman with a quick pass. It's complete to James Mann rather. He's brought down quickly by Brandon Reitz. Short gain on the play. He'll pick up 2 yards to the 48-yard line.
Man on just another out pattern. They've run this a couple times already tonight. Nice tackle by Brandon Reitz. Nice hard hit on James Mann to bring him down.
And that'll bring up a 3rd down and 4. 15 seconds remaining in the quarter. Pius leads Chadron 7-0, and that may well have been the final play of the first quarter. The Cardinals are content to let the time run out, and that's how the first quarter will come to an end. Well, Chadron has moved the ball well on its 3 drives of the quarter. They just have nothing to show for it. Pius, however, does have 7 points to show for it. They have moved the ball very well. They've had a good defensive stand, and we've got a great one shaping up in Class B as the first quarter ends with our score. Pius leading Chadron 7-0.
Nebraska. It's what America was, and too little of it still is. Its natural beauty, unforced and effortless, industrious and yet relaxed. A perfect blend of yesterday and tomorrow, where people are real and friends and family grow closer each day. The experience can be summarized in one word: genuine.
With Brandon Verzel, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Tom Osborne Field. We move to the second quarter of play in our 1998 Class B state championship game between the Pius Thunderbolts and the Chadron Cardinals. After 1 quarter of play, Pius leads Chadron 7-0. The Cardinals with the football in pretty good shape at midfield. They've got it though, 3rd down and 4 at the 47-yard line. A key play here for the Cardinals. They've been successful several times on 3rd down. However, they did see one drive end as they turned the ball over on downs. They'd like to keep the drive alive here. On the first play, Wallstrom with the pass to Zach Alcorn. It was behind him. He almost made a great catch. It falls incomplete. And the Cardinals have a decision to make. They're not looking like they're going to send the punt team in.
Pius was playing off the Cardinals defenders quite a bit. Had the opportunity to make the catch. The ball was behind him. Almost made a one-handed grab, but not quite.
Now they're going to go for it. They didn't look like they were in any hurry to put the punter into the football game. So on 4th down and 4 at the 47, well, they're showing some confidence in their quarterback, and they're showing confidence in their defense. Bury the man in motion. Wallstrom looking for a receiver, and he had one open, and he overthrew him. The pass intended for number 10, Charles Mann. And for the second time, the Cardinals are forced to turn the football over on downs, and Pius will have it in great field position at their own 47-yard line.
The decision to go for it, as you said, is going to give Pius great field position. Chadron's punter, Charles Mann, averaging 33 yards a punt. Not too bad. Well, Chadron may have just given Pius 33 yards on this drive.
Mann was in there, but he was the intended receiver, not in there to kick the ball away. So now here's Pius with a great opportunity. Chadron showing some confidence in its defense. The pitch is to Grossroad. And the pitch was deep in the backfield, and he had a long way to go just to get back to the line of scrimmage, and that gave the defense time to pursue and make the play. Zach Alcorn, 49, among many white jerseys around the ball.
The pitch wasn't right on the money. Grossroad had to hesitate to make the catch. By that time, the Chadron defense had caught up to him on the ends, and there's just nowhere for him to go.
On the Chadron 49-yard line.
Forward progress to the 49-yard line of Chadron, a gain of 3. Now 2nd down and 7. And a reverse to number 6, Nick Legal, and he's forced out of bounds at the 37-yard line. He has got some great speed once he turns that corner.
Knocked out of bounds by number 4.
Must have definitely been something head coach Tim Aylward saw going into this game, that this would work against a Chadron defense. Nick Legal only 36 rushes on the year, and I think he's already had the ball 3 or 4 times in this game on that end around, and he showed great speed. It's been a nice play for the Thunderbolts.
1st down and 10, the ball at the 37. Pius on the move. They lead it by 7. Rob Timmerman, the quarterback, gives to the fullback Shane Burkle, and he's hit at the 35-yard line and brought down. And they'll spot him at the 34-yard line, a gain of 3. 2nd down and 7. 1 minute gone by in the second quarter. Pius leading Chadron 7-0.
And a 3 on the play brings
Burkle again getting the ball. Just a simple fullback trap. Establish the run up the middle a little bit.
Gross Road on the eye. Burkle the fullback. And Timmerman keeps it himself, follows Burkle into the line. And he's got good yardage down to the 26-yard line, and that should be enough for a Pius first down.
Timmerman faked the handoff right away and still went around the end. The Chadron defense, I think, bit both the fakes, both the fullback trap and the second attempted handoff, and wasn't able to catch up to Timmerman until after he'd been past the first down marker.
And credit those guys on the right side of the line, John Rudersdorf, number 66, and Bob Montgomery, for paving the way for the first down. Here's Grossroad, hit immediately as he got the football and brought down after a short gain. Zach Alcorn, 49, in there. And a pickup of 2. The ball spotted at the 24-yard line.
Grossroad's just a junior, but he's averaging 6.5 yards a carry. Pretty much the bread and butter of this offense.
Second down and 8. 9:50 remaining in the half. Pius looking for more. The Thunderbolts 9-2 on the year. And there's Legal again on that counter play with the reverse action. And he's wrapped up at the 22-yard line. A gain of 2. It'll be third down and 6.
For the first time when that play is run, the Cardinals were able to get in the backfield on the opposite end of that reverse, and they were waiting for Legal on that play. Worked the first few times for 7- and 8-yard gains, but on that play, Legal wasn't ever able to get anywhere.
Third down 6. Scott Rempe into the lineup for Pius, split wide to the right. Legal split wide to the left. They work out of the eye. Long starting count from Timmerman, and they'll sweep it with Grossroad. He cut it back up to the middle, lowered his head. He needed the 16-yard line, and he's down there right around the first down marker.
Depending on the spot, looks like the nose of the football is just about there. Grossroad knew where he had to get to, you can tell, because he reached for that first down marker at the very end of this play. Nice effort there to reach for the first down.
And they'll bring the chains out. And it is indeed a first down for Pius. So the Thunderbolts are marching. Chadron gambled. They had a 4th down and 4 at midfield. They came up empty, turning the ball over to the Thunderbolts, and Pius has moved the ball well offensively each time they've had it. Outside of the fumble, they have looked very good offensively. 1st and 10, the ball at the Cardinals' 15. Timmerman follows his fullback into the line, picks up 3 yards, and is driven back.
With the Cardinals down by 7 and Pius challenging to get another 7 points on the board, you have to look to the Cardinals defense. It's been huge this year in terms of turnovers. 24 interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries, and they've just given up 10 turnovers offensively. So turnover margin has been a key thing for the Cardinals. They sure would like to have one here.
8:16 and counting. Here's Grossroad right up the middle. A huge hole. He's still on his feet. He's into the end zone. Touchdown.
Carry by number 26, Matt Grossroad. Touchdown. Lincoln Pius the 10.
Matt Grossroad with a 13-yard touchdown run. He gives Pius a 13-0 lead. Great second and third effort here on the touchdown.
It's what you call massive yak. Yards after contact. Broke about 3 different tackles. Looked like a Makovica run against Akron last year. Still able to fight in for the touchdown.
And Ben Armstrong is on for the point after try. John Aylward will hold. High snap. The kick is blocked. And the block, it's Wallstrom, Michael Wallstrom, the quarterback coming in from the left side, extending that 6'3" frame. The snap was high, and that play was doomed from the start.
Just about blocked it into the east stands, too. The ball was shot up into the air. And we'll see if that ends up playing big in the end.
13-0 our score, 8:08 to play. Chadron will have the football. with the wind at its back.
Chadron has a very opportunistic offense. They strike really fast, so a medium deficit isn't tough. If they get down by much more than 20, it'll be tough to come back, as Pius does have a strong defense, but definitely not counting the Cardinals out down by just 13.
Well, and not with a guy like Michael Wallstrom as your quarterback. The guy's got 2,200 yards through the air, 31 touchdowns. And he'll be playing on Saturdays in college football very, very soon. This guy, you just watch him on the field, and his field presence, you can tell that he's something special. Armstrong will kick for Pius.
Armstrong.
Huffman and Berry back deep to receive for the Cardinals.
We've seen a lot of good quarterbacks in the state championship so far, but Wallstrom's one of the first one that's just real agile and a good decision maker, and he showed that already in this football game.
Boy, if you're a Chadron fan and you look at the scoreboard, you see 13 points on the board, and you got to be scratching your head. This team has only given up double digits three times this year, rather. And the kick being returned to the 24-yard line. Check at the 34-yard line. Charles Mann on the return. And decent field position for Chadron here. And their first full possession of the second quarter.
Chadron's had decent field position so far on all their possessions. Have yet to extend out Michael Wallstrom's arm. They do have the wind going with them now. So maybe throw a little long a few times on this drive.
And they've got drives beginning at the 35, the 34, the 18, and the 34 again. And they've been moving the ball well. They just have not been able to finish. James Mann goes in motion. Wallstrom to throw. He's got pressure on him, and he's brought down from behind by Burkle. Boy, Shane Burkle has been all over the field here in the first half, both offensively and defensively, from his linebacker and fullbacker spots.
Burkle has 109 tackles on the year, and here he breaks up the middle. Had an offensive lineman on him, but broke off him as soon as Wallstrom tried to cut to the outside. Nice roll away and makes a nice tackle right at the hips.
Fullbacker?
Fullbacker, is that what you said?
Second down and 12. Hey, after 6 football games, you come up with some new positions too. Loss of 2 on the play. Second down and 12. The ball at the 32-yard line. Alcorn in motion. Quick pass to him out of the backfield. Lowers his shoulder, gets good yards after contact. Brandon Reitz, 21, the first man to hit him. And then Tony Rodriguez came in there to help him out. The gain is out to the 39-yard line. Sets up a third down and 5.
Alcorn with a large frame, as we said, 6'4", 215. And he used it there to get a few extra yards, just stuck his helmet down and knocked over a couple Pius defenders.
You get the feeling now this is a big play in this football game. Pius has really shown the ability to move the football at will against the Chadron defense, which is somewhat surprising because Chadron has a top 5 defense in Class B. Chadron needs something to happen offensively. Now, we've still got plenty of time in this football game, but you need something good to happen to get some confidence. And Wallstrom is going to tuck the ball under, and he'll get the first down himself and a whole bunch more into Pius territory to the 46.
That was created perfectly for Wallstrom because of the setup. 2 wide receivers on the far side of the field were going out. The linebackers were kind of leaning to that far side, and the offensive line opened up a perfect hole right up the middle of the pocket. Wallstrom picked it up right away and made the run. Important first down right there for the Cardinals.
All the way down to the Pius 46-yard line. First down and 10. The ball at the 46. 6:09 and counting remaining in the first half of play. Pius leads the Cardinals 13-0. Huffman goes in motion. Wallstrom wants to throw again. Burkle in pursuit. Wallstrom gets away. Lofts a pass out there to Alcorn, who's wide open. Alcorn 30, 25, down to the 22-yard line. And we've got a penalty flag on the play back at the 49. Hold everything.
It didn't look like Alcorn was going to be involved in that play. He was over blocking in the backfield, as you can see there. Turned around, realized his quarterback was in trouble, and just ran a little out pattern there. And Wallstrom had him open. But it looks like the ball's going to be called back.
From the 46 to the 21, a 25-yard gain is going to be wiped out, and it's a clipping penalty. And that's a monster 15-yard mark-off against the Cardinals.
Plus, it's from the point of contact, and I think that was another 4 or 5 yards in the backfield.
All the way back to the Chadron 41-yard line. Oh, my goodness, what a killer penalty. Check at 36-yard line.
First down and 28.
You're talking about a 43-yard difference on the play. Oh, my, what a killer. First down and 28 now for Chadron. Wallstrom to the air. Pass is complete. They'll do it a little at a time. Huffman, Nels Huffman with the completion. He spun out of bounds at the 44-yard line. A gain of 8 on the play, and that'll bring up a second down and 20 situation.
Looks like the Cardinals were going to be an ideal situation deep in Pius territory with a good chance of scoring. Now they pretty much have to rely on the pass just to have a chance on possibly third down to get a first down. Still second and 20, a long ways to go. Have to get all the way to the 36 of Lincoln Pius.
If I've got to get a bunch of yards, I like having this guy, Michael Wallstrom, as my quarterback. And the shovel pass is intercepted by Nola Clausen, and he will score.
Intercepted by number 8, Nolan Clausen. Touchdown.
Oh my goodness, what a killer play. If you're a Bolt fan, you're loving it. If you're a Chadron fan, you're dreading the 8-hour trip home. 19-0, and this has stunned everyone.
What ability by Clausen there. Wallstrom, he knew that he was in trouble, that Clausen was about to tackle him, so you could tell Wallstrom was going to go for just a quick flick pass here. But he just made the read and caught it right in the ear, like catching a pitch. And there's just no way anybody was going to catch him after that. What a great athletic play by Nolan Clausen.
Dead ball foul. Unsportsmanlike
And an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Pius, no doubt for excessive celebration. And that'll mark the point after try back to the 18-yard line, which will make the PAT try a 35-yard field goal. Ben Armstrong is on to try the point after. 19-0 is our score with 5:36 to play. And Armstrong kick is short. No good. And we've got a penalty flag on the play.
36 seconds until halftime.
It looked like somebody from Chadron jumped off a few people's backs there on the lines, and of course that's not a legal play, and
they're signaling Pius to come back onto the field. And it's a personal foul penalty against Pius, or rather against Chadron. And so that'll mark off 15 yards the other way, and we'll go back to the original spot for the point after try.
And you gotta remember too on that touchdown for Pius, you gotta remember that 44-yard turnaround where Chadron could have had the ball inside the 30.
What a disastrous turn of events for Chadron. They had the pass to Alcorn all the way down to the 21-yard line. A clipping penalty set him back. And then the shovel pass intercepted by Nolan Clausen, who scored earlier on a 1-yard touchdown, or check that, a 3-yard touchdown run. Offensively, he gets the interception on the shovel pass for a touchdown the other way. And Armstrong remains in the game now for the conventional point after try. And they're going to spot it down now at the 9-yard line, which would make it a 9-yard penalty. Half the distance to the goal.
We're just announcers. What do we know?
Well, Chadron had somebody come straight up the middle, and Pius is going to try for the 2-point conversion. Elward's pass is well out of the end zone, incomplete. And they led it 19-0. They wanted to make it a 3-touchdown game at 21, but they come up short. So with 5:36 left to play in the first half, Pius has taken a commanding 19-0 lead on the Chadron Cardinals, who have to be somewhat stunned right now.
The strategy supposedly for the Pius defense coming into this game was to mix up the schemes a little bit and try to confuse Wallstrom. And I don't think necessarily Wallstrom's been confused so far. The Chadron offense, hasn't been too bad, but turnovers have been key so far. And that's one thing that the Cardinals have had going for them all year. Their turnover margin's been so good, and now backed in a hole because of it.
Kicking off for the Thunderbolts.
Armstrong will kick it away to Chadron. Barry and Huffman standing at their 15-yard line. .5:36 to play. Pius trying to become the defending champion and the back-to-back state champion. And this is Barry, brought down at the 31-yard line in a good, decent field position for Chadron. The 31-yard line. They need to have something good happen before the halftime break.
Be interesting to see what Cardinals coach Dick Stein comes up with on this drive. They haven't been consistently doing the same thing on every drive so far. Be interesting to see if they'll try to get Wallstrom to throw and get a touchdown here before we close to a half.
They take over with 5:31 to play. Four receivers, rather three receivers in the pattern. One split wide to the right, two to the left. And Wallstrom, quick drop back. And this is Caton with the catch. Turns it back upfield and gets to the 40-yard line. It'll be a gain of 9, making it 2nd down and 1.
As with any offense, you like to see those large gains on the first couple of plays. You got a 2nd and short situation here, which gives you a lot of opportunities. You can throw the ball long, or you can just go for the simple first down on a short run. But it helps a lot when you get long gains on first down.
And Wallstrom will take this snap under center. And Barry is the man in motion. Wallstrom to throw again. Pressure's on. Flushed out of the pocket. The pass is complete to Barry. And he's wrapped up and brought down at the 48-yard line by number 21, Brandon Reitz.
Just short passes so far for Wallstrom, and it's been successful. This Chadron offense has started driving several times. They just haven't been able to put anything on the scoreboard. Here Mitch Barry just breaks out, and Barry sticks with Wallstrom as he was scrambling. Barry kept moving, finally found himself open, and Wallstrom hit him.
And another first down for the Cardinals. We've seen this time and again here in this first half. The Cardinals have had the ability to move the ball well to midfield, but that's where they've seen their drive stall. Barry goes in motion to the far side. Wallstrom to throw again. Flushed out of the pocket. He needs some help. And he lofts a pass to Zach Alcorn, who's got it down to the 35-yard line.
The Cardinals receivers know Wallstrom well. They know he's going to try to keep things alive as long as he possibly can. And they just keep moving. And they just keep looking back until they finally get in an open position, because they know Michael Wallstrom's a good enough quarterback that he'll find him. And that's what Zach Alcorn did there. He was blocking for much of the play, but he broke away once Michael Wallstrom cut to his side of the field.
That's a heady play by Wallstrom. He's running to the sideline. He's running out of room and has to throw across his body. And he found Alcorn for the completion. 3:55 remaining in the half. Chadron still trying to get on the scoreboard, and this is a team that averages 41 points a game. Wallstrom rolling to his right. And the pass intended for 31, Kurt Caton, is incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Pius won the state championship last year, defeating Lexington. Trying to make it back-to-back state titles here in 1998.
This is a team that's only allowed 25 points in their 3 playoff games so far. So they have been strong defensively, particularly this year in the postseason.
2nd down and 10.
And Wallstrom out of the shotgun. Sends Barry in motion. And he'll throw it again. Pressure coming from the backside, and the pass falls incomplete. Charles Mann was in the area. The pressure was put on by number 72, Bob Montgomery.
Covered on the play by number 3.
If you're going to get hit by anybody on that Pius defensive line, you don't want to get hit by Bob Montgomery. 6'5", 265. Showed some speed on that play. Got in the backfield and laid a nice hit on Michael Wallstrom.
And it brings up a 3rd down and 10. The Cardinals need the 25-yard line for the first down to keep the drive alive, and this is the pattern that we have seen so far in this football game. Chadron moves the ball well, gets to midfield, and things tend to fall apart for them. Wallstrom with the shovel pass, and that's almost intercepted by Clausen again. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I wonder if that's something Clausen saw on film this week, because it's not as if he's even pursuing Wallstrom. I don't think he did on the first play, and I don't think he did on that play either. He was expecting the shovel pass, and he just seems to interlude between Wallstrom and his intended receiver. And if that pass is just a little bit more to his right, he's gone again.
Oh, my goodness. You know, I've never seen a shovel pass intercepted, let alone see 2 in 5 minutes. 4th down and 10. Third time in the half that the Cardinals are going for it on 4th down. 3:32 remaining in the half. Nels Huffman goes in motion. Wallstrom to throw. The heat is on again. Burkle giving chase. Wallstrom needs help. Fires a pass out there. Up for grabs, and it's almost caught by Alcorn and incomplete.
Wallstrom's pass incomplete to number 30.
Wallstrom was running for his life in the backfield, all the way back into his own territory, and he almost completed the play.
Pius sent 7 men blitzing on that play, had Wallstrom running all over the field. He was about 10 to 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage when he let that ball go. Originally tipped by number 34, Nels Huffman, and then Zach Alcorn just couldn't come up with the football.
So with 3:22 to play in the first half, Pius with a 19-point lead takes to the field, taking over at 1st down and 10 at its own 35-yard line. They've got good field position, 3 timeouts to use, and a lot of momentum offensively. And they give it to Burkle on the ground, and he's wrapped up immediately. A 2-yard gain on the play. Tackle was made by Zach Alcorn, the defensive end. Boy, how tough is that? You go out for a pass, you almost come up with it. Falls incomplete on 4th down. They say, son, you got to get back out there and play some defense, and then you go make the play.
So impressive that we've seen in these playoffs the number of players that are playing on both sides of the football. Not easy to do.
Legal goes in motion. And Timmerman to throw. Going deep, intended for Scott Rippey. He's up with it, can't come down with it. Hit him in the hands, bounced off. Mitch Berry covering on the play, and you got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, Berry did a nice job of looking back at the right time for the football. Must have been reading Rempe's eyes. He looked back, got a hand up there, and made Rempe fumble it just enough so he couldn't come down with the football.
Third down and 8. 2:43 remaining. And the pitch is to Grossroad, and he's run out of bounds at the 42-yard line. It'll be 4th down for the Thunderbolts. And I would imagine they'd be content with punting the football away and letting their defense get back out there on the field, because the Thunderbolts have been dynamite here defensively in the first half. Sure, they've got 19 points on the board, but that's because their defense has been so stingy when they've had to be.
I think they'll be glad to give the Cardinals the ball deep in their own territory,
right.
Let them get out to midfield and then stop again.
And Ben Armstrong is in to punt, standing at his own 28-yard line. And Mitch Berry deep to receive, a high snap, and it's off the side of Armstrong's foot. Bouncing at the 50, and it'll roll out of bounds at the 47-yard line. So the field position isn't too bad now for Chadron. That could have been a lot worse.
An 11-yard punt from a punter that's averaging 37 yards a kick. So the special teams play in terms of kicking hasn't been very strong so far in this football game.
And again, Chadron has good field position. We talked about it a moment ago. 35, 34, 18, 34, 31, and now the 47-yard line, and they've been unable to take advantage of it. They've got 2 minutes and 26 seconds to play with here in the first half. They trail at 19-0, and they've got all 3 of their timeouts. 4 receivers in the pattern for Wallstrom. And Wallstrom will keep it himself and run it off the right side across the 50 to the 45. Gets a block from Alcorn, and he's run out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
Tell you, without looking at the scoreboard, just looking statistically and looking at the game, the statistics are pretty much even. 154 total yards for Chadron, 150 for Lincoln Pius. And looking at the play of Michael Wallstrom so far, you'd think that this game would be tied up, if not very close. Look up at the scoreboard, it's 19-0. A few key defensive plays by Lincoln Pius have brought that deficit up.
And a first down gives the Chadron fans reason to cheer. 1st and 10, the ball at the 42. And since the opening moments of this game, Chadron has almost exclusively gone out of the shotgun. Wallstrom to throw again. He's got a man wide open downfield. It's caught at the 10, 5, all the way down to the 2-yard line is Craig Hoffman.
Hoffman with just 17 catches this year, 6 of them have been for touchdowns, and that one was very close to being that way. He was wide open right in the middle of Pius' zone. Somebody must have messed up the coverage there. Took 2 Pius defenders to catch up to him at the last moment to keep him from going into the end zone.
And they spot the football at the 3-yard line, so it's 1st and goal for Chadron. Plenty of time remaining. 2 minutes left in the half, and they've got 3 timeouts. And finally, they're threatening deep in Pius territory in this football game, trying to get on the board. They trail at 19-zip. Barry in motion. And they'll run the option. Wallstrom, the play gets strung out, pitching the football, and it goes out of bounds off the pads of Ben Pfister. And it'll be a loss on the play back to the 8-yard line.
That's a good thing there was a sideline there because that pitch was fumbled. Pius was really looking for that play. They had 3 men following the option to the left. More men than Chadron had blockers and runners. Just nowhere to go.
Loss back to the 7, 2nd down and goal. 1:43, the clock stops. Hoffman, who made the big catch, is split wide to the right side. And Nels Huffman goes in motion. And Wallstrom wants to throw, and he's brought down from behind. Matt Grossroad with the sack back to the 15-yard line.
Grossroad, a linebacker, hesitated a little bit. He wasn't immediately in the line of scrimmage. However, Michael Wallstrom looked like he pump faked a little bit after right after receiving the snap. As he hesitated there, it just gave him Grossroad just enough time to make the sack.
And Zach Alcorn has to come off the field. He's got a big cut on his left forearm. And so the Cardinals will be without their leading receiver on this big 3rd down and goal play from the 15-yard line. Weren't they just at the 3 moments ago? The Cardinals going in the wrong direction. Wallstrom has Caton split wide to the near side. Huffman goes in motion. Wallstrom to throw. One fake. Scrambling for his life once again. Grossroad giving chase. The ball into the end zone, and it's knocked down. He had Huffman in the end zone, and the pass is broken up by number 6, Nick Legal.
Legal had a great opportunity for an interception on this play, but I'm still amazed, even though Wallstrom didn't get the ball there, how is he able to throw the ball on a dead sprint that far and pretty much that accurately? He would have hit the receiver, but it took a nice play by Nick Legal to bat that pass down.
51 seconds remaining in the first half, and Chadron has used one of its 3 timeouts. We'll take it with them, and we'll come back with more action from the Class B final right after this.
When you think of golf, do you think of Nebraska? Maybe you think it's too flat. Maybe you think it's too dry. Maybe you think it lacks elegance. Maybe you've heard it called the Great American Desert. Maybe you just heard wrong. Golf in Nebraska is a lot of things. And you're welcome here. Genuine Nebraska.
With Brandon Verzel, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Tom Osborne Field in Lincoln. The Class B final between the Chadron Cardinals and the Pius X Thunderbolts. And Pius has been fantastic here in the first half. They lead the Cardinals 19-0. 4th down and goal from the 15, and the Cardinals are going for it once again. Wallstrom lofting a pass into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown! Zach Alcorn, who exited the game moments ago with a cut on his forearm, back into the lineup. He hauls it in for the score, and the Cardinals are back in this one.
Just a simple fade route. Wallstrom just throws the pass up and helps Alcorn can beat his man to the end zone. Alcorn fumbled with it a little bit, but showed great hands there and great concentration in coming up with the ball before he got out of bounds. Wallstrom timed this pass perfectly right in the back of the end zone. The coverage wasn't bad. Alcorn just made a great play.
I'll tell you what, Armstrong had great coverage on the play. But Chadron is on the board. And the point after try is up, and the kick is good. Drew Margrave with the point after, and Chadron is on the board with 46 seconds remaining in the first half. Pius still leads 19-7, but boy, that's a huge break for the Cardinals as they go into the locker room at halftime.
4th and 15. If Pius is able to stop Chadron in that situation, they're going to go into the locker room with a 19-0 lead. A much different game than a 19-7 ball game in which Chadron essentially just needs 2 touchdowns. Doesn't even have to worry about the extra points to tie this football game up.
Well, you look at Zach Alcorn and Michael Wallstrom. They have been playing together for a long time, and plays like that really are developed through chemistry and practice and years of experience together, and certainly paid off there for the Cardinals. And so Ben Armstrong, who was beaten on the touchdown, is back deep to receive the kickoff from Margrave, and it's a squib kick to Grossroad at the 35-yard line where he'll cover it up. Pius with 45 seconds to play here in the first half and 3 timeouts. Do they take a crack at the end zone?
Tough decision here. Obviously, like we said, the Chadron Cardinals very good defensively at forcing the turnover, 24 interceptions on the year. The Cardinals were able to come up with an interception here, possibly return it for a touchdown. Football game's even closer than it is right now, so be interested to see what head coach Tim Hallward decides to do.
And in that lineup for Chadron, Charles Madden, number 10, he leads the state in Class B with 8 interceptions. He'll be covering Armstrong wide to the near side of the field. And Timmerman to throw. They want to go for it all. Pass is lofted out there. It may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage because that was well behind the intended receiver, Nick Legal. And the pass falls incomplete into the Pius bench.
Number 6, Nick Leichel.
Looked like they're trying to hit him on a fly pattern, although the pass was thrown a little bit too far vertically, and the wind blowing the other direction pretty much just knocked the pass down.
That looked like a kick. 2nd down and 10, the ball at the 35-yard line, 39 seconds remaining. Scott Rimpey split wide to the far side. Legal in the slot. And they keep it on the ground with Burkle, the fullback, and he's wrapped up at the 40-yard line and driven back. And it looks like Aylward was content to take one crack at it, see if they couldn't move the ball downfield on the big play, and it didn't happen, so they'll keep it on the ground and run the clock out and go into the locker room with a 19-7 lead because they're not using their timeouts.
Chadron still had 2 timeouts left. Thought they might take the chance to try to get the ball back if they can stop Pius here, but it looks like they're content as well.
7 seconds, 5 seconds. Well, Timmerman wants to throw. Lofts a pass out there. It's through the hands of Nick Legal. And that was kind of a dangerous pass because Charles Mann was coming over from his safety position. If he's able to pick that off, he may have been able to go.
Complete open field behind him. That is a very dangerous pass to that side of the field late in the half as it was. But Chadron wasn't able to do anything with it. And we go into halftime with a 19-7 score.
So that's how the first half comes to an end. And for Chadron, they have reason to feel good as they head to the locker room. They put some points on the board late, but it's Pius who takes a 19-7 lead into the locker room at halftime. We'll take a break and come back with third quarter action right after this.
Tradition of excellence is something that Husker fans know all about. The Husker Tunnel Walk is the greatest introduction in college football history. Now, bring the Tunnel Walk tradition to your home. You'll go behind the scenes and see firsthand the making of the legendary Tunnel Walks. Meet the Tunnel Walk creators and hear how the tradition changed the Husker experience forever. See all 4 in their entirety. Play it before the big game, after the big win, or when you just need a Husker fix. The Tunnel Walk tradition is produced by Snitley Car Production Group and sold exclusively at Huskers Authentic.
Genuine Nebraska, where opportunity is as open as our landscape. It's a land of prosperity, discovery, and community, where the best things in life are priceless and can be yours for the asking, where work is plentiful and rewards are generous. Come home to Nebraska. A great place to work, play, and stay. Genuine Nebraska.
Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Tom Osborne Field. The Chadron Cardinals and the Lincoln Pius X Thunderbolts in the Class B state championship game. Halftime activities have wound down. 19-7 is our score. The Bolts on top of the Cards with Brandon Verzel. I'm Bill Dolman. It has been a terrific football game. The Pius Thunderbolts have come out and played extremely well on both sides of the ball. Chadron's offense has been dynamite. Unfortunately, they've only got 7 points to show for it.
Yeah, in many cases you'd say with Chadron that they were lucky to get the ball in the ball in the end zone towards the end of the half, and they were, but they pretty much dominated this game statistically so far. 10 first, actually it's been pretty even. 10 first downs for Chadron, 9 for Pius X. 50 rushing yards to 119 for Pius, 157 passing yards for Chadron, 36 for Pius, and 2 turnovers for Chadron and 1 for Pius. You knew that Chadron had a strong passing game. They're very, very balanced offense. They've had to rely on the pass so far because of Pius's defensive strength, and you knew Pius was going to come in and rush the ball, and they've done that so far with more than 3 times more rushing yards than passing yards.
Where Chadron has dominated is in time of possession. They had the ball 7 more minutes in the first half than did the Thunderbolts, but they trail it by 12 points. And Ben Armstrong on the carry, on the kickoff return, out across the 20 to the 21-yard line, and the Bolts will have the football first. Again, they lead it 19-7, just underway in the third quarter of play. Pius in the green jerseys, gold helmets and pants, and the Cardinals of Chadron, white helmets, white jerseys, and the dark pants. They are the visiting team on the scoreboard. First down and 10, the ball at the 21-yard line. And we've got an official's timeout. They're going to change the footballs. Each team has brought their own, and Pius wants to use theirs. So it'll be first down and 10. Pius, 9-2 on the year. They started the season with a win over Hastings, then lost to Beatrice in Game 2 of the season. Tim Aylward said that was the turning point in our season because we learned we had to play hard every night. Here's Matt Grossroad going off the left side, bulling his way out to the 29-yard line. He was hit at the 23 and kept his legs going, and he picks up good yards.
Grossroad really should only have gained about 3 or 4 yards on that play, but he kept battling. So big for running backs to keep their feet moving, no matter how many people you have stacked against you. If you can keep your feet moving and you get a few of your own players behind you, it can push you forward for extra momentum. 8-yard gain on the play.
Second down and 2 at the 29. Grossroad again off the left side, and again he's got the first down. Look at those legs continue to turn. Forward progress to the 33 before being turned back. So Pius gets a quick first down on its opening drive of quarter 3.
Obvious that Grossroad has to be hit right after the line of scrimmage. It's going to be awful tough to open tackle this great running back. As you've seen so far, the Cardinals need at least 2 defenders, if not 3, to take Grossroad down.
Mike Connolly, the left guard, doing a great job, along with Taylor Ashburn, the left tackle. And Grossroad comes in motion to the near side. Inside handoff is to Legal. That play worked several times in the first half. This time the Cardinals have the answer. And Legal with the short gain to the 34-yard line. It's a pickup of 1, second down and 9.
Gone to this play to Legal several times in this game. In 11 games this year, Legal only had 36 rushes, so about 3 times per game maybe they'd go for that play. But like I said, they must have seen something in Chadron's defense that made it look susceptible to that play.
Minute and a half gone by in the third quarter. Second down and 8. Burkle, the fullback, takes it straight up the middle across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Brought down by 34, Nels Huffman. That'll bring up a third down and 2.
And after going outside, give the ball to Burkle, who's had a couple nice tough runs to the left side today to set up a third and short situation.
He had 30 yards in the first half on 5 carries. He also did a great job defensively from his defensive end spot. Third down and 2. Grossroad off the right side. He's got the first down and more into Cardinal territory. He just will not go down. What a terrific running back. Crossing the 45, they'll spot it at the 44. First and 10 Bolts, and they're on the move.
Absolutely no quit in Matt Grossroad. The Chadron defense was in the backfield immediately. The problem was Grossroad was already beyond them. As you see there, one man he's carrying, another guy trying to bring him down, ends up being about 5 or 6, even 7 Chadron defenders to bring him down on the tackle.
Caton had a hold of him, and Barry was going for the football, and neither one brought him down. Here's Burkle off the left side. Brought down after a short gain. Pickup of 2 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
One thing I've yet to mention, very solid offensive line for Pius, and they've shown it tonight. Not a lot of times the Cardinals have been in the backfield. Lincoln Pius hasn't necessarily been in a lot of passing situations where pass blocking's been important, but the rushing gain's definitely been there because of the line.
2nd down and 8. And Legal again with the carry. Cuts by a couple of tacklers, gets across the 35, and he's wrapped up and thrown out of bounds at the 34-yard line. He'll be close to the 1st down.
It's almost as if that reverse to Legal is just a play to throw Chadron off and keep him honest from going up the middle every now and then. It looks like Pius will go to that play after they've run the ball several times up the middle, just to keep the Cardinals thinking about that run outside that's been successful today.
3rd down and 1. Burkle has the 1st down and more. Boy, if he could have kept his balance, he'd have been gone. He's tripped up at the 30-yard line, and he falls forward to the 27. 1st and 10 for the Bolts. They look strong out of the gate here in quarter 3. They lead it 19-7 over Chadron.
With a great fullback like Burkle and then a tough runner like Grossroad in the backfield, when you get in that 3rd and short situation, it's going to be awful tough for Chadron to stop Pius from getting the 1st down.
What's most impressive about this drive is the way they've managed the clock, keeping the ball out of Michael Wallstrom's hands. Here's Grossroad, slashing his way off the left side once again, down to the 21-yard line. And that'll move the marker. It'll be a 2nd down and 4. A pickup of 6 on the play.
Pius offensive line very impressive on this drive, opening up holes, gaining 5 and 6 yards for their ball carriers on nearly every play.
Matt Sabansky, the center. Mike Connolly's in there at a guard. Taylor Asperin's also in there. Grossroad, counter action, brings it back to the middle of the field. And he's brought down at the 22-yard line. Who else we got in there? Bob Montgomery is in there, number 72.
And number 55, Brian Ellison.
Again, just tough running. Sets up the run inside and sets up a 3rd and short situation. Actually, it will be a 1st down, 1st and 10 for Lincoln Pius.
And John Rudersdorf is in there at the right guard spot. So that sets the offensive line for Pius, who has looked very good. 7.5 minutes remain here in the 3rd quarter. Timmerman keeps it himself on the option, cuts upfield, gets the ball down to the 12-yard line, and Pius looks like a machine here to start the 3rd quarter of play. They are chewing up the clock.
And in the first half, Chadron almost had the ball for twice as long as Pius did, and it looks like Pius has taken that category over so far in the 2nd half. This drive now 5 minutes old.
Under 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. And Chadron's defense, as we talked about, which ranks among the top 5 in Class B, just has not been able to stop the Bolts as Legal gets the carry, and he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Falls ahead to the 9-yard line. He'll be about a yard shy of the necessary 1st down yardage, which will bring up a 3rd down and call it 2 yards to go from the 9.
It looks like the Thunderbolts are running relatively the same plays. It's just the mix-up of them and the variety of them is throwing the Cardinals off guard.
Burkle, the fullback, falls forward. He picks up the 1st down to the 7-yard line. And the Bolts will have it 1st down and goal. Well, we talked about Chadron. Gave up 14 points in a win over Scottsbluff, 22 points to Scottsbluff in the playoffs, and 14 points to Ogallala. Those are the only 3 games in which their opponents scored in double figures. Otherwise, they've shut out Alliance 28-0. 5 other games, they gave up just 6 points. In 2 other games, 7. And they only gave up a safety to Belfort, South Dakota. So defensively, this team has been as good as it has been on offense. And offensively, it may be the best offense in the state. But right now, the Pius 10 Thunderbolts are teaching a thing or two about offensive football and controlling it. This drive now 6 minutes old. Legal in motion. Armstrong split to the near side. This is Grossroad trying to find the corner. He is out of bounds inside the 1, just shy of the goal line.
Grossroad.
Second down and goal.
Grossroad, just another tough run outside. Gets very close to the end zone, and you got to like Pius's chances with 3 downs, almost assuredly to get the ball in the end zone.
Second down and half a yard to go for Pius. And Timmerman keeps it himself. He's into the end zone. Touchdown, Pius.
Ball carry by Rob Timmerman. Touchdown, Lincoln Pius the 10.
Great job by that Thunderbolt offensive line during that drive. 6-minute drive taken out up half of the third quarter. And that line played a key role. Just tough runs up the middle, a few tough runs outside. And even on that play, pushing the way in so Rob Timmerman could sneak in for the touchdown and expand that lead to 18.
And the Bolts will go for the 2-point conversion. Yeah, they're a little bit disorganized, and they will call a timeout. So with 5:59 to play in the third quarter, Pius has taken a 25-7 lead on the Chadron Cardinals, and Pius has used one of its 3 timeouts. So we've got a timeout on the field. We'll take it with them. Once again, our score, Pius leads Chadron 25-7 with the point after try coming up.
Nebraska. It's what America was, and too little of it still is. Its natural beauty, unforced and effortless, industrious and yet relaxed. A perfect blend of yesterday and tomorrow, where people are real and friends and family grow closer each day. The experience can be summarized in one word: genuine.
With Brandon Verzel, I'm Bill Dolman. Welcome back to Memorial Stadium, Tom Osborne Field. Pius with a 25-7 lead on Chadron. They've taken a timeout to set up the 2-point conversion try. Timmerman turns, fakes, passes into the end zone. It's complete. We've got a penalty flag on the play. The pass is complete to Nick Legal, but hold the phone. Let's see what this is all about.
Flag thrown just behind the line of scrimmage. I think it would probably be a hold, especially with a play-action pass like that. And him scrambling to his right. And it did look like there was a hold on the right side of the line in the backfield. Yet to get an indication, though.
Here it is. And holding against Pius.
Against the Thunderbolts.
So wipe off the 2-point conversion, and now the Bolts will have the football at the 20-yard line. Well, I tell you what, we've had about 3 or 4 of these point-after tries in this tournament that have taken forever. A couple in this game.
Yeah.
So the Bolts will now spot it at the 19-yard line, and Armstrong is now in there for the point-after try. John Aylward will hold it at the 26, and Armstrong's kick won't get there.
Extra point is no good.
So, after all that, Pius still leads Chadron 25-7 with 5:59 to play in the third quarter. And the Cardinals have a bit of work to do. They didn't get on the board until late in the first half. They moved the ball well at times, but their offense would stall in Pius territory, and you got to credit the Bolts defense. But Chadron has played very well offensively, but like I said before, they only have 7 points to show for it.
That Cardinals offense had a great drive at the end of the first half and definitely had some momentum going into the locker room, but 6 minutes into the quarter and they still haven't touched the football yet. So that momentum definitely hasn't carried over. Just took too long to get them on the field.
Boy, and the last thing they need here is a 3-and-out drive. They don't want to give the ball back to Pius and not see it again.
And number 22, Mitch Berry.
This game is being played in Pius's backyard. They don't want him to take the ball and go home. And the kick return from the 15-yard line. This is Nels Huffman showing good speed through the hole. Bounces off a tackle. and gets the ball all the way out to the 44-yard line. So once again, the Cardinals start off with great field position, and we've got some action in the Chadron bench. As Clausen gets the tackle for Pius, and this is a nice return by Nels Huffman.
Great blocking by the special teams there to set up that hole on the near side of the field. Huffman read it well, and a little bit of pushing and shoving going on there on the sidelines.
And they start with the ball 1st and 10 at the Cardinal 41-yard line. Good field position. Mike Wallstrom, 14 of 24 in the first half, and penalty flags fly.
Penalty on the play.
There are some teams that won't throw the ball 24 times in a year, let alone a half.
Looked like a quick play call may have forced the Thunderbolts offside before the snap. Will be procedure.
Against the Thunderbolts.
And that'll make it 1st down and 5. And if Chadron had any inclination to put the ball in the air, 1st down and 5, I would believe would be just a pretty much given. So Wallstrom, who was also the leading ground gainer for Chadron in the first half, 10 carries for 43 yards. They keep the ball on the ground. This is Nels Huffman. Makes a move on Scott Rempe and is able to get the football inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. So they keep it on the ground.
Huffman, a senior, 101 rushes for 676 yards going into this game. Showed some great ability on kickoff returns, and there cuts quickly around the corner and gets the Cardinals into Pius territory at the 38-yard line.
1st and 10, just inside the 39-yard line. We call it the 38. 5.5 to play. Huffman in motion. Wallstrom to throw. The heat is on again. Buys some time, looking for a receiver, reverses his field, and he is going to be sacked. Penalty flag will fly, and Wallstrom will be called for intentional grounding. He had a receiver open at midfield, down around the 20-yard line. That was Charles Mann.
As creative as Wallstrom gets, one problem definitely has got to be is he just keeps running backwards until he finally has an opportunity to throw. In that case, he was 17 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They're back at their own 45 before he threw the football. He did get away before he could get tackled, but the intentional grounding penalty is even going to hurt him worse.
Spotted the foul penalty 5 yards back to the 41-yard line of Chadron. So they move from the 38 all the way back to the 41.
Brings up 2nd down at 31.
It's a 21-yard penalty, brings up a 1st down. Check the loss of down also on the play. So 2nd down and 31 for the Cardinals. They're moving backwards again. 5:15 remaining. Kurt Caton goes in motion. And Wallstrom rolls out to his right. Fires a pass complete to Berry. And he's wrapped up and thrown out of bounds into the Pius bench by 21 Brandon Reitz.
Number 22.
We've seen the Cardinals in this situation a couple times tonight where it's been 2nd and very long, 2nd and 30. I think it's the 2nd time they've had 30 yards to pick up for the 1st down. They got to get all the way down to the 28 of Lincoln Pius to get a 1st down here. 3rd and 26.
Well, remember they scored the touchdown on a 4th down and goal from the 15-yard line. You get the feeling with this Chadron offense, no distance is too far. 3rd down and 26. And it's Charles Mann split wide to the near side, and a penalty flag will fly.
Penalty on the play.
And a delay of game penalty on Chadron. That's the last thing they need when you're facing a 3rd down and 26.
Yeah, what's an extra 5 yards?
3rd down and 31. So that wipes out the gain on the pass play to Berry. And Charles Mann comes in with the play from Dick Stein. And again, he splits wide to the near side. That's to the left. 3 men in the backfield with Wallstrom. And now Berry goes in motion. Sprinting out to his left. And cutting back upfield. He'll try and get a whole bunch by himself. Nice move. Cuts back. Got a big block. 50. And he's wrapped up by Legal and thrown down at the 47-yard line.
Now, against most offensives, on 3rd and 31, you'd think that the defense would play conservatively and play back. With the abilities of Michael Wallstrom and his ability to throw the football, you have to put pressure on him. And Pius did it in that situation. Wallstrom was tied up several times. Great block there by Nels Huffman to allow him to gain an extra 10 yards or so. But still an 11-yard gain still only sets up a 4th and 20.
Are they going for it?
Why not?
They're going for it. 4th down and 20 at the 48. They need the 28-yard line. Here we go. Wallstrom, the heat is on again. He's got some work to do. The pass is going to be incomplete. You got to give the credit to the Pius defensive line. Matt Westling, the defensive tackle, put the pressure on, as did Jamie Makovica. And Wallstrom, rolling to his left, had no chance trying to throw across his body.
Wallstrom's been on the run all night, and you can do that with short passes. When it's 3rd and 5, you can throw a short screen, but when it's 4th and 20, you have to be able to throw the ball 20 yards, and there aren't many people at any level of football that can throw the ball 20 yards in the air across your body.
So with 3:30 remaining in the 3rd quarter, Pius takes over. And this is Grossroad up the middle. It's a foot race for the end zone, and he's brought down from behind. Fumbled, picked up by Armstrong. Touchdown!
On carry by number 26.
Are you kidding me?
Tackle the play by number 10, Charles Mann. Fumble.
And I thought intercepting the shovel passes are the most unbelievable thing. Look at the breakaway speed by Grossroad. He was still caught from behind, but great play by Ben Armstrong. He was out of the play. He wasn't going to be able to make the block, but he continued to follow Grossroad, and a good thing he did because he recovered the football and got a touchdown as a result.
Wow. And Grossroad is down on the play, and Armstrong is down in the end zone.
On the field.
And Grossroad, they look like they're treating him for a cramp. And that's the same situation in the back of the end zone with Armstrong. The trainers have come out.
The interesting thing about Armstrong, he was never tackled. He was dogpiled there in the back of the end zone behind the B, and he must have got hurt by one of those large Pius offensive linemen celebrating a little too much, and it looks like he's hurting a little bit on the left side of his leg.
You know, he was grabbing at his hamstring. Meanwhile, Grossroad is still down at the 13-yard line, and they continue to try and stretch out the calf. What a bizarre play, and what a bizarre turn of events for Chadron. They go for it on 4th down, come up short, and Pius is able to get the big run by Grossroad. He fumbles the football, and Armstrong follows on the play. And Pius gets a touchdown out of it. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
Number 6,
Nick Legal will do the point after try this time around, and his kick is up, and his kick is good. With Armstrong on the bench, he's the regular kicker. They go to Legal, and he is able to put it through. So with 3:19 to play in the 3rd quarter, Pius has taken a commanding 32-7 lead on the Chadron Cardinals. Well, Brandon, they open up the first half with a monster 6-minute, 1-second drive. They put a touchdown on the board, take the lead even further to 25-7. Chadron comes back with a decent drive. It stalls on 4th down, and Pius, boom, hits you like that.
An unbelievable play, and you can't give enough credit to Ben Armstrong on that play. Most of the time you'd see offensive players standing around watching after Grossroad had such a nice run, but Armstrong continued to pursue him and was right there to make the play for the touchdown. Nice play by Ben Armstrong.
And a game that had the makings for a great one, and a down-to-the-wire finish with two teams of very contrasting styles, a ball control offense of Pius and the high-octane offense of Chadron. Two great defenses. This is turning into a rout. Berry at the 24. Bringing it back upfield, cutting to the near side, spun down at the 34-yard line, and that's where the Cardinals will set up shop. I don't think anybody expected the kind of game that we're seeing here.
Chadron has put up 238 yards of total offense, just hasn't come all together in one long drive with the exception of one time. It's necessary now for the Cardinals to strike, and they have to strike quickly.
They have had a dynamite season, putting up big numbers throughout the year. One of the best offenses, and you'd have to say one of the best offenses in Class B history. But here in the state final, they have run into a well-balanced Pius team. This is Nels Huffman on the ground, taking it off to the right side. And good penetration by the Pius defense, and it's a little gain for Huffman. In fact, no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Nolan Clausen among many green shirts in there for the tackle.
The Pius defense giving up just 77 rushing yards per game right now, right at 76 for Chadron. Haven't really been able to establish it or get it going. This is a Chadron offense that averages 189 rushing yards a game.
Wallstrom, a quick pass caught by Berry. Splits the defenders, lunges forward. He'll be stopped short of the first down. Spotted at the 41-yard line.
The Cardinals have been the most successful tonight on the short screen plays. Allowed the receivers to get the ball at the line of scrimmage or a couple yards thereafter and try to get the gain themselves. The few times that Wallstrom's had to drop back and pass, he's been under so much pressure, it was tough for him to get off a nice pass.
The ball is at the 42-yard line, makes it a 3rd down and 2, and Wallstrom will be under center here. And this is Berry. Out of the slot back position. He needs the 44-yard line. He's going to be about a yard shy.
Had to get just beyond it, and the Pius defense was stacked up the middle. They reacted quickly and knocked him back before he could get across that point. It's going to be 4th and a little less than 1.
Well, if they've gone for it on 4th down and 20, I would imagine they'll send the punter in and let him kick the football away. That's exactly what I was going to say. 1st down and 22, 4th down rather, and 1 with 1:22 to play in the game. Charles Mann is in there, and he just got it off. It's a high kick, not a long kick, and it rolls out of bounds at the 40-yard line. And so it's a 17-yard punt for Chadron. And here come the Thunderbolts, leading at 32-7 with 1:07 to play in the 3rd quarter.
Definitely seen how important punting can be in the state championship so far. Haven't really seen an extremely strong punter on any team. That punt just 17 yards. Can play a tremendous role in field position in the game.
So Rob Timmerman takes to the field. Number 2, the quarterback, gives to Shane Burkle straight up the middle. And Burkle gets some tough yards up to the 48-yard line. Well, the umpire got involved in that play.
Took most of Chadron's defense and the umpire to take Burkle down on that play. And so far in this half, Pius has been getting big gains on 1st down. And when you're at 2nd and 2, it's tough to stop the Thunderbolts.
Grossroad back in the lineup. Spins his way to the 50, and that should be enough forward progress for the 1st down.
All carried by number 26, Matt Grossroad.
Grossroad does not go down easy, even in that situation. I don't think he ever had to touch the turf. Still standing up with 3 guys against him, fighting, trying to get over that 1st down marker.
Grossroad, a 6-foot, 186-pound junior. And we've got an official's timeout for the measurement. If he's short, it'll be 3rd down and short. 31 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter, and he's got the 1st down by the length of the football. The attendance tonight, 3,456. That would be 3,456, one short of a straight. The 3-day total here in Lincoln, 21,723. The evening session here on Saturday, 14,980 attending the football games here at Memorial Stadium. And Dave Weigel on the carry is roped up and brought down. He's thrown for a loss. Well, they've kind of figured that play out. He got big yards in the 1st half, and here he's wrapped up. And they'll move the sticks back about a yard, making it 2nd down and 10.5. And that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Time has run out, and it's a productive 12 minutes of football for the Pius 10 Thunderbolts. They led at halftime 19-7. and they've extended that lead over the Chadron Cardinals 32-7. 3 quarters are in their books, 1 more to play in the Class B state final. It's coming your way right after this on the Stitley Car Production Group Network.
When you think of golf, do you think of Nebraska? Maybe you think it's too flat. Maybe you think it's too dry. Maybe you think it lacks elegance. Maybe you've heard it called the Great American Desert. Maybe you just heard wrong. Golf in Nebraska is a lot of things. And you're welcome here. Genuine Nebraska.
Welcome back to Tom Osborne Field and Memorial Stadium in Lincoln with Brandon Verzel. I'm Bill Dolman. 12 minutes remain in the 1998 Class B State Championship game between the Chadron Cardinals and the Pius X Thunderbolts, and it is all Pius. The Bolts lead at 32-7 as we head to the final quarter of play. 2nd down and 10 for the Bolts at the 50-yard line, and we've got a penalty flag before we get action underway. And they're going to mark that off against Pius. A procedure penalty. Pius has not been whistled for a penalty in quite a while. It's just their 2nd penalty of the game.
And penalties have killed the Cardinals. Count the number of times the Cardinals have had a good gain on offense or on a kickoff return and called back because of clips and holds and just about everything.
I think they did have a penalty in the 3rd quarter, so that would be the 3rd of the game. But nonetheless, this has been a disciplined game for Pius. They've done a great job of controlling the football. They've done a great job defensively as well. Timmerman to throw, letting one fly. He's got Leigel out there. It's caught at the 22-yard line.
Timmerman's pass complete to number 6, Nick Leigel.
Nick Leigel's had one heck of a football game for the Thunderbolts, running the ball in those reverses in the first half, did a tremendous job. And on that fly pattern, he had double coverage on him, and he had everybody outrun by at least 5 yards. The pass was placed right there by Rob Timmerman. Timmerman's done a great job running this offense tonight.
1st and 10 at the 22 for Chadron. They haven't put the ball in the air all that much, but when they have, they've been very efficient. Timmerman now 2 of 5 in the game. A completion to Armstrong and the completion to Leigel. And the procedure penalty against Pius, that'll set him back 5 yards, making it 1st down and 15 from the 27-yard line.
Timmerman doing the job that he needs to do for these Thunderbolts, handing the ball off and getting it to those good people in the backfield. Grossroad now 17 rushes, 145 yards. Shane Burkle 10 rushes for 54. Nick Leigel 8 rushes for 37 yards, all averaging over 4.6 yards per carry.
And Leigel on the carry. On the reverse, has blockers out in front, gets away from a couple of tacklers. He's forced out of bounds at the 13-yard line.
Timmerman with
9 carries now, 10 carries in the football game.
Timmerman with the most casual handoff in high school football history, just kind of standing there looking up into the sky, hands it off to Leigel, and the Chadron bit the fake pretty good. And Leigel gets another nice gain. Nick Leigel's really impressed me tonight.
They spotted at the 14. 2nd down and 2, a gain of 8. And Timmerman keeps it himself following his fullback Burkle. And he's brought down right around the necessary yardage for the 1st down. Spotted just inside the 12. And that should be enough for a 1st down, and it is.
You saw it at the end of the 3rd quarter, and you can kind of see it now. A lot of Chadron players on the defensive side hanging their heads. Obviously upset being down by 25 in this situation.
The ball short of the 11-yard line. 1st down and 10. Pius can get a 1st down. They go out of the wishbone. Here's Grossroad into the end zone. Touchdown. Oh, this is getting easy for Pius now.
Credit Mike Connolly and Paul Jarrett on the play. Offensive line's done a tremendous job this afternoon. Both of them were out there making the blocks. Not a lot of work for Grossroad there. Just follow your line and run through the humongous hole on the far side of the field. Great offensive line and great discipline from the offensive line Lincoln Pius has shown today.
On for the extra point.
And Armstrong is back in there for the point after try. Remember, he went off with a tender hamstring a moment ago after scoring that touchdown. He's back on, and his kick is up. His kick is good, and Pius has taken a commanding 39-7 lead on the Chadron Cardinals.
39,
Chadron had only given up 101 points all season through 12 games, and they've been hit for 39 in this one. Pius started the year, we mentioned, 1-1. Went defeating Hastings, losing to Beatrice in game 2. They came back with a shutout over Omaha Northwest, a big win over Grand Island Northwest. Then they lost to Fremont from Class A, a 7-6 decision. They've won their last 6 games coming into the final, defeating Lexington, Columbus Cotus, Waverly, Norris. The big win over top-ranked and unbeaten Elkhorn in the quarterfinals, 25-8. And they knocked off Gretna 31-9 in the semifinals. They've only given up 25 points, now 32 points in the playoffs. They have been dynamite defensively, and the ball control offense tonight has been very impressive. Tim Aylward had told the newspapers, I don't think we played our best football yet. That's in spite of the win over Elkhorn in the quarterfinals. I would say that tonight his team has played its best game of the year. The kickoff taken by Mitch Berry. A long way to run to try and find the wall. He can't do it, and he's brought down by John Goes at the 14-yard line.
John Goes, a nice play on special teams here, fighting off a blocker, staying with the play, rolling off and making the tackle.
11-14 remaining in this one, 39-7. And if I'm Chadron, I'm hoping I've got a Greyhound bus to go home on, because a school bus ride for 8 hours would not be a whole lot of fun. First down and 10 at the 14 for Chadron. And this is their worst field position of the night. So all game long they've had good field position and chances to stay in the football game. And now that it's getting a bit out of hand, now they've got a whole lot of territory to cover to get back into it. Wallstrom's pass is complete to Barry. He gets away from one tackle and is brought down at the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 6 on the play.
Though the score in the first half was 19-0 for most of it, except for at the very end when Chadron got on the scoreboard 19-7. Statistically, Chadron was ahead of Lincoln Pius in total yardage, but now the Thunderbolts have dominated ever since here in the second half. 356 total yards for the Thunderbolts, 247 for Chadron.
Wallstrom. Pass incomplete, intended for Zach Alcorn. It'll be 3rd down and 4. They still have the advantage in time of possession after 3 quarters of play. 20-15.
And Pius has made the most of those 14 minutes and 49 seconds they've had the football.
In the third quarter, they had a monster 6-minute and 1-second drive to open up the second half with. They put the ball on the end zone for the touchdown, and that really set the tone for this second half. 3rd down and 4 for Chadron. Wallstrom sends Alcorn in motion, and he'll roll out to his left. If he can get the corner, he can get the first down. He does, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 30, making the 29-yard line. It's enough for the first down for Michael Wallstrom.
All 3 of Wallstrom's receivers were at least 20 yards downfield, so the cornerbacks and defensive backs of Pius were back quite a ways. Wallstrom read that wide array, saw that he could get around the corner and get just beyond the first down mark.
First down and 10 for the Cardinals.
The ball at the 29. I really like watching this Wallstrom kid play. He is a terrific talent. He reminds me of former Nebraska quarterback Brooke Behringer. Same size and frame. A great arm, can also run the football very well. His pass is complete to Nels Huffman. Huffman avoids one tackler down the sidelines, cuts back to the midfield, and he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. Nifty running by Nels Huffman.
Surprising the Cardinals haven't gone with this more so far in this game. The only time they've really been successful on the pass, with the exception of one long fly pattern, is on these short screens. On this play, it was just a short screen. Great block by Mitch Berry. Coming up here, it must have been just off screen to get a few extra yards.
Well, he had a great move to get past Scott Rempe. And a nice night for Nels Huffman. 10 minutes remaining in the Class B state championship. The Chadron Cardinals trying to finish strong. Wallstrom feels the heat up the middle. Now tries to buy time. Puts his pass out there, and it's caught by number 10, Charles Mann, at the 35-yard line. You know, we talk a lot about Michael Wallstrom, but you really have to credit his receivers. They never quit on a pattern, and they do all they can to get open.
You can tell that they've played together all year. They know what kind of a quarterback Wallstrom is. As I've said, he's going to scramble. He's going to try to get you the football. They just keep moving until they're finally open, and they expect Wallstrom to find him, and he's done it so far tonight.
We've got a penalty flag on the play. That was thrown back at the 50-yard line. And it may have been a late hit on the quarterback, Wallstrom. And it is a personal foul, roughing the passer penalty. So in addition to the gain to the 35-yard line, they'll tack on 15 more yards against Pius, and that'll set the Cardinals up first down and 10 at the Pius 20-yard line. Wallstrom. Two receivers split to both sides, and Huffman set behind him. And this is Caton in motion. And Wallstrom runs the option. The pitch is deep, and Huffman's got some work to do just to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he'll be wrapped up a yard shy.
4 Thunderbolts in the backfield on the near side of the field on that option over there. Wallstrom just got rid of the football because he was about to get tackled, and Huffman did a good, nice job getting back to the line. Lucky he didn't lose yardage on the play.
It was almost a forward pitch.
It's Alabama 21.
Loss of 1 on the play.
17.
Second down and 11. 9 minutes remaining in the game. They wanted to try that shovel pass again, and Wallstrom threw it away. He almost didn't get it far enough out of bounds.
Wallstrom's pass incomplete.
But it looked as though they were trying to set something up for a middle screen or a shovel pass or something, and Pius had such great penetration that screwed the play up.
Lucky got the ball away in time. Taylor Ashburn and Jamie Makovica both in the backfield trying to get Michael Wallstrom. Got the ball away. Wasn't called for intentional ground. He put it in the right place and avoided getting sacked on the play.
Huffman came out of the backfield, kind of snuck his way behind that defensive line, but had no chance to get open. That sets up a third down and 11, the ball at the 21-yard line. And Alcorn goes in motion. He caught the touchdown pass in the first half. And Wallstrom sprinting to his left. And he'll keep it himself, and he'll be short of the first down by about 5 yards. Brought down at the 15-yard line. And that'll bring up a fourth down and 5.
On the play by number 91, Jamie Makovica.
Wallstrom has about 75% of Chadron's rushing yards tonight, but it hasn't necessarily been by plan. Most of the time it's been Wallstrom having to scramble and not having any passing options, and he's just had to run around the corner and try to get a few extra yards. He does have over 65 yards rushing on the day.
Fourth down and 5. And they need to get inside the 10-yard line for the first down. Wallstrom pumps once, timing pattern into the end zone. Alcorn is there, Armstrong is there, and it is intercepted by Ben Armstrong.
Intercepted.
Those two tangled in the first half, and Alcorn came away with the touchdown. This time it's Armstrong who gets the INT, and they turn the Cardinals away again.
Armstrong's 5th interception of the season. He's batted down at least one pass tonight. Had some a nice coverage on the touchdown catch for the Cardinals. And nice coverage there again. Just takes the ball right out of his hands for the interception.
And the Bolts get the touchback, and they'll have it first down and 10 at the 20. And another nice drive put together by the Cardinals comes to a disappointing end. They began that drive back at their own 14-yard line. And straight up the middle with the fullback, Tony Rodriguez, number 37. And he moves the pack up to the 28-yard line, a gain of 8 on the play.
Cardinals with 302 yards of total offense now, but just 7 points on the scoreboard to show for it. Haven't been able to capitalize when they need to. Had a lot of fourth down situations and haven't done well on fourth downs tonight.
Second down 2. And there's a new quarterback in the game for Pius as well. And the give is to the tailback, and we're going to have a whole lot of substitutions now for the Thunderbolts. Ball carried by number 41, John Goes. John Aylward is in there as the quarterback, a 5'10 senior. Timmerman is out. He's gone to the bench, the senior. His day is done and his career is done as a Pius 10 Thunderbolt, and Timmerman and his fellow seniors could cap their careers with the Thunderbolts' second straight state championship. And the gain by Goes is out to the 35-yard line. I guess you could say Goes went to the 35, first down and 10. And it's Goes again. Here he goes to the 30. Well, how much fun can you have with that? 37-yard line, a gain of 2 inside 7 minutes remaining.
This is going to give the ball up the middle here, run plenty of clock. Like we said, they had a 6-minute drive at the start of the third quarter. If they can maintain that here, it would only give Chadron the ball with a couple minutes left in the game. And Pius will wrap up the state championship.
Which would be the 5th in school history and the 3rd in the last 4 years. They give us to the fullback, and he's hit immediately on the play. And that's Tony Rodriguez, 6'1 senior, fullback linebacker, playing both ways tonight. Zach Elkhorn with the tackle, 3rd down and 7. The ball at the 38-yard line.
Good that John Aylward's getting in at quarterback here. He's a senior as well, but of course he's had to play in Rob Timmerman's shadow here this year. Aylward's already thrown a pass tonight, actually, on an attempted fake on a 2-point conversion.
And an inside handoff to the slot back. That's Nick Heiser, and he's wrapped up and brought down. No gain on the play. I'll give him a yard to the 40-yard line. That'll set up a 3rd down and 5 situation. And Pius will punt the football away to the Cardinals. And this is something they have not done very much tonight.
Brings up 4th down and 5 on the 40-yard line. Back to punt for Lincoln Pius.
And it looks like Timmerman is in there. Yeah, Timmerman is in there. He'll punt. Armstrong is their regular punter, but he's been so busy kicking PATs, his leg's tired.
For Chadron, number 22, Mitch Berry.
And that's a side winding kick that bounces and goes out of bounds at the 28-yard line, which is where Chadron will have it. 1st down and 10, 5:17 remaining in the Class B state championship game. It is all Thunderbolts. 39-7 is our score. And how about this run that Tim Aylward and company have enjoyed to the mid to late 1990s. State champions in 95, state champions in 1997, and they're about to repeat as state champions here in 1998. And Aylward, it's been a great year for him. Very satisfying to see a team improve as much as it has throughout the year, but one of the wins this season was his 100th career victory as Pius's head coach. So congratulations to him on his individual milestone, but he's 5 minutes and 17 seconds away from hearty congratulations for a job well done with this football team as it wins another state championship. And Wallstrom is brought down, sacked on the play, back at the 22-yard line, a loss of 6.
One of the first times tonight Wallstrom's really been hit solidly. He's done a good job of scrambling. And like we said, the offense has been pretty productive. They just haven't been able to score in key situations.
And John Rudersdorf was the big guy for the Thunderbolts who got in there to make the sack, and Rudersdorf remains on the turf, and the trainers have come out to tend to him, and that stops the clock with 5:04 remaining in this game.
You talked about Pius's domination. Now, after this game, 24-11 in playoff games since 1975, an incredible record in the postseason.
And for Chadron, a disappointing end to what has been a marvelous season for the Cardinals. Dominating throughout the fall, 12-0. The biggest question entering this season for Chadron was on the offensive line. They were untested, a little inexperienced, but Dick Stein found out right away that he had a pretty special group. But tonight they have run into a very good football team that, you know, I'll tell you what, as we take a look at the statistics through 3 quarters, again, it's Pius has the advantage in rushing yards. Chadron has done a much better job through the air, so the numbers are relatively even. The biggest discrepancy is on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no doubt. Like we said, the Cardinals just haven't been able to capitalize in the key situations and put the ball in the end zone.
And a great night for Matt Grossroad. 17 carries, 145 yards through 3 quarters. Wallstrom leading Chadron with 11 carries for 53 yards. That before that sack.
Well, if there's any consolation for Cardinals fans that made the 8-hour trip, there is 3 players on this football team that will be playing basketball very soon, returning from a team that won the state championship last year. So hopefully the 8-hour trip will be made again by these Cardinals fans.
Well, and the good news, too, is that there are several hotels along the way, so they won't have to make the trip all at once. And the clock runs with 5 minutes remaining in this game, 39-7. Wallstrom airs it out. He's got Huffman, and it's just out of his reach.
Huffman cut to the middle, had his man beat, cutting right over the end at the center of the field, just barely overthrown while Wallstrom tried to lead him just a little too much.
I guess I should mention the hotels because the Nebraska Department of Tourism has been so good to us in helping us to put this production on. So,
our thanks. Nebraska Tourism.
Major props. Third down, 15 at the 23. 4:53 to play. Alcorn in motion. Wallstrom under center. His pass is tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Alcorn has it, but he'll be well shy of the first down. In fact, shy of the original line of scrimmage, and that'll bring up a 4th down and long situation for Chadron with 4:40 to play in the game.
And we've seen this all night, and this is one reason it's been so tough to score. 3rd and long, and now 4th and long. So many 4th down situations for this Cardinals team, and they haven't been able to execute with the exception of the 15-yard touchdown on 4th and 15 late in the first half.
And the Gatorade bath has come early for Tim Aylward. Well, it's one of the assistants who's taken the bath early on. And on 4th down, Wallstrom running for his life. They've got the screen pass set up. Nels Huffman, 35. He needs the 38-yard line, battling for yards. He's brought down at the 37-yard line, and it looks like he might be a half yard shy.
Great effort by Nels Huffman. You can tell his awareness there. He knew where he had to get for the first down. You'll see him give the extra effort there at the very end of the play, stretching to get beyond that 38-yard line. Cuts back there, breaks a couple tackles, and pushes forward, trying to get across. It's going to be very close. But like Bill said, it looks like it may be a couple chain links short.
And he is shy, and Chadron has to turn the football over again on 4th down. They have gone for it on 4th down 7, 8, 9 times in this football game. Punted once.
And that was on 4th and 1.
Well, they had an extra jug of Gatorade over there on the Pius sideline. It was reserved for head coach Tim Aylward, and he is going to be chilly for the next 4 minutes and 1 second. So I'd imagine he's going to tell his troops, run the ball into the line and run this clock out. Let's celebrate and get me some dry clothes. 39-7, the Thunderbolts have been dominant. And it's Rodriguez, Tony Rodriguez on the carry. Straight up in the middle, and he's wrapped up. No gain on the play. 2nd down and 10.
The careers of 2 great quarterbacks winding up here. Rob Timmerman with Lincoln Pius and Michael Wallstrom with Chadron. Wallstrom now has the 11-man record for touchdowns in the season. He had his 32nd tonight. Just a tremendous year. 32 touchdowns, and including tonight's passing yardage, about 2,400 yards passing.
And they'll sweep it with goes. And he battles back to the line of scrimmage, stays in bounds, and the clock will run. 3:20 and counting remaining in the Class B state championship game.
Number 14, James Mann, and number 11, Michael Wallstrom.
And the Bolts are over now saluting their fans. Got about a dozen guys or so over there and standing on the benches saluting the Thunderbolt crowd who is here, a part of the 3,456 who are here at Memorial Stadium. And what a great opportunity for these kids to play a football game here at the Nebraska Football Palace. And another dive straight up the middle. Well, that ball carried by Goes once again. He stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And the Thunderbolts are content to let this clock wind down.
Throw another streak at you here, Bill. 5th appearance for Lincoln Pius in the championship. They have never lost. So when the Thunderbolts are good, they're really good.
And they now have a 4th down and 10. Aylward, the quarterback, 2:15. A long starting count, turns, gives, goes off the left side, wrapped up, brought down at the 35-yard line, and Pius will turn the football over to Chadron. And the Cardinals will have it one last time in this championship football game. 2:04, the clock has stopped. And I'll tell you what, Chadron has had a terrific season. They will end their year at 12-1. They fell behind early, 19-0. They got a touchdown just before the half, but Pius's drive at the beginning of the 3rd quarter, 6 minutes and a second off the clock, it ends up in a touchdown, and that was huge in this football game. It stole all the momentum away from Chadron, and since then it's been all green and gold.
This is a team the city of Chadron's going to be very proud of. Never made it past the 2nd round as this high school, and they made it all the way to the finals this year, so definitely a building block for the Cardinals program.
But with all the seniors that they have on the roster, next year will be a rebuilding year. They will say goodbye to this quarterback, this fine quarterback, Michael Wallstrom. And that pass is complete to Caton. Cuts inside, gets a couple of more yards. He's got the 1st down. They'll move the chains. And that Pius sideline looks like a hockey sideline. They're making line changes right and left. Everybody's getting some action here in this state championship game. They'll spot it down at the 49-yard line.
Also on the play, number 11.
Hurry up offense with 1:56 left. I'm sure Wallstrom wouldn't mind making that 33 touchdown passes, making that record a little harder to break in the future.
1:51. And a double shift, and a penalty flag will fly, and this is going to be against Chadron. Wallstrom lofts it out there. The pass is tipped and caught at the 39-yard line, but they're going to have to bring this one back. Kurt Caton was down there to haul in the tipped pass, but Berry and Huffman were in motion at the same time, and they're going to mark this off. Unless Aylward wants to be extremely generous and give him the play down to the 40-yard line.
Pius fans spilling out right behind the bench now, being encouraged not to run out in the field. Butch Huggins' security staff is down there, but outnumbered slightly.
Well, that's a great group of people, and they're a lot tougher than they look. 5-yard penalty marked off against Chadron. 1st down and 15 now. 97 seconds and counting now remaining in the high school season for 1998. 1st down and 15. The ball at the 44. Wallstrom will put the ball in the air again. And it's going to be a foot race down there, and Caton's got it. Gets away. No, he's brought down at the 26-yard line by Adam Wemhoff. And that was not Wallstrom's prettiest pass of the night, but he does get good yards down to the 26-yard line. And you really got to root for these Cardinals to get the football into the end zone one more time before this one is done.
Wemhoff made a nice play, keeping a handful of jersey there and avoiding him from getting in from the touchdown.
I doubt if Pius fans want to see him get into the end zone, but at this point, I doubt they care. 39-7 is the score. Wallstrom had a man. We've got a penalty flag on the play. And the intended receiver was Zach Alcorn. He was knocked down at the 11-yard line. The pass fell incomplete, but that'll be pass interference on Pius.
Chris Peterman on the coverage wasn't looking for the football. Looked like he had his hands out and gave a little push.
How about the turnaround that Pius had this season? They had no starters returning this year from last year's state championship team. That's almost incredible in its own right. Sometimes you have a few starters coming back, but to have nobody coming back who started last year and to be able to put together a football team that was going to be competitive was one challenge, but to come back after starting the season at 3-2 and to go on the run that they have has been a true mark of a champion, and one that I'm sure they'll be talking about this team for a long, long time in the halls of Pius X High School. 1 minute to play. Wallstrom lofting a pass into the air. It's caught by Alcorn. He's in there for the touchdown. Oh, that's great to see. Wallstrom and Alcorn hooking up one more time. The two seniors for the Cardinals have been a dynamite duo the last couple of years for this football team, and in the final minute of their high school careers, they're able to hook up one more time for the touchdown.
And it looks like 33 touchdown passes will be the new 11-man record for one season.
I'll tell you what, this is not the last we've seen of Michael Wallstrom. A lot of these guys will go on to play at the state college level, and a few will go on and play out of state in Nebraska. But this Wallstrom kid will be playing somewhere in the Division I ranks. And the kick is good. And it's good by Drew Margrave. And 53 seconds remain. 53 seconds remaining in the Class B state championship game. Pius 39, Chadron 14.
Well, you talked about Pius's job this year with no returning starters. Got to give a lot of credit to head coach Tim Aylward. This is a team, like you said, that started off 3-2. That just shows how well he developed his players as the season went on and took a team without any returning starters, and they got better as the season went. And you have to believe they're playing their best football here in the last game against Elkhorn and then in this game right here.
And not only is Aylward a great coach, I had the opportunity to meet him during the Shrine Bowl a couple of years back, and you're not going to meet a nicer guy. If you want your son to play football, you want him to play for a guy like Tim Aylward. He is just a superhuman being. And the kick is away. It's a short one, and it is going to bounce around. It's a live football, still loose. Chadron is on it. Pius is on it. The Cardinals say they have it. The officials say the Bolts have it. And that's pretty much the way this night has gone. An opportunity missed for the Cardinals, and Pius will come away with it. 53 seconds remaining in this one.
An end-over-end kick. The ball takes a weird bounce. Maybe hits a Pius defender, ricochets off, and you can see the ball pop out at the end there. It looks like there's only 4 Cardinals around the football, but apparently in the struggle underneath, one of the Thunderbolts came away with it.
Looked like maybe he was kicking a balata the way it backed up. Good grip and
seen some interesting kicks here the last 3 days.
First down and 10 at the 28-yard line for Pius. And the Bolts have to use a timeout because they have made wholesale changes in their lineup. And Tim Aylward's going to come out and do a little coaching with his younger group and say, all right, folks, you guys are it next year. Let's get this thing right. We want to get back here and play. They might be a couple of players short, too.
Who, me, Coach? Comes running in.
Adam Wemhoff will be in there at quarterback, number 10, and Adam, a 5'10 junior, will see some playing time. We've got a timeout on the field. We'll take it with him and come back with the final minute of the Class B State Championship game in just a moment. Welcome back. The final 53 seconds. Pius with the 39-14 lead on the Chadron Cardinals with Brandon Verzel. I'm Bill Dolman. Pius got out to an early lead. They led it 19-7 at the half. And they have dominated here in the second half. The opening drive of the third quarter really set the tone for this second half of play. They have dominated ever since. Final half minute. Wemhoff is the quarterback. The Bolts keep it on the ground. The ball carried by Zach Allen, number 36. And that, in all likelihood, will be the final play of the game and of the season for 1998. Pius has won it again. They're back-to-back state champions, defending their title with a 39-14 win over the Chadron Cardinals. Chadron will end the season at 12-1, and the Bolts at 10-2 are champions once again for the 5th time in school history. And this one has to be oh so sweet, Brandon, for the way they have come back. And Tim Aylward has earned that ride. Boy, what a great performance all season long. He said, I don't think we played our best football yet. I got to believe this was their best game of the year, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
If you're going to peak, it's got to be in the championship, and it's gradually been building through the playoffs. They outscored opponents in the playoffs by an average of 30-8, including that 25-8 win over number 1 Elkhorn. And right here, just utter domination, 382 total yards for Lincoln Pius, 313 yards on the ground. They really showed that running game is strong from the Thunderbolts.
So that will do it from Memorial Stadium, Tom Osborne Field. Lincoln Pius the 10th, the champions of Class B with a 39-14 win over the Chadron Cardinals. Congratulations to head coach Tim Aylward and the Thunderbolts of Lincoln Pius.